FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
It's Love Jones. It's Love Jones. Check us out as we combine our hit music with a love story. Live with Candy. It's Love Jones. Call in and participate at 326-0271 on Global Radio 99.5 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, Refugee Camp presents
for all relationships, for regrets, for disagreements, for breaking up and making up, for all those out there jonesing for love. It's Love Jones right here, right now on Global 99.5. Good morning and welcome. This is the best mix of R&B music. We're home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. We're Global 99.5. It is another edition of Love Jones, and I welcome one as well as all Facebook viewers, as well as those that are listening via transmission. Welcome and happy Thursday to you. Before I do anything, let me go ahead and give you the contacts. Live in studio is 326-0272 or 1. You may WhatsApp or text at 431-8497 or 812-1787. Email at verycoolcandy@yahoo or lovejonescrew@gmail. You can watch the video on Global 995 FM's webpage and watch it again later on down as we post it on Love Jones Crew page. Like us, be a friend, and be a part of our conversations on a day-to-day basis. Morning, Mikey.
What's happening?
All right, yeah. Your followers have been missing you. They just wanted me to
2 days.
Just
2 days.
That's a long time without Magic Mike.
It's the 9 to 5. I'm sorry, I apologize.
No. I know you have the things to do. I just let you know that when you're not here, you're missed.
Okay, appreciate
it.
I appreciate that.
Every man needs to hear that. When you're not here, you're missed and appreciated.
Can you give me the name so I can thank them personally?
I shall. Oh. But for me too. I just want you to know.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you just need that love. No, I'm just giving you that love.
No, I don't want to give the love back. So give me the names.
Yeah, I can give you the name. I can do that later. But today.
So what did I miss?
Wow, it's a lot. Nate sat in one day and he's caused a cougar movement to happen. A lot of ladies. Yeah, man. Ladies were hitting me up via Facebook and on WhatsApp and stuff. And they were saying that they were pleasantly surprised that a man of 20-something had such views and points of maturity. It changed the way that they see younger men and the possible pursuit thereof, or when the invitation comes, they may consider taking it now.
Go, Nate.
If there are men such as this out there. So the Solid was doing big things.
Coach about that's what I'm talking about. I gotta listen to that show.
Yesterday, Dee and I, Pat chimed in, but we had a really good conversation that we got some great feedback from. We were talking about, it started as what is husband and wife material, right? And then we started to talk about the precepts society-wise, and then religion came into it, and that opened up a whole other debate.
Usually it does.
Yeah, as an evenly yoked and what that means, right, and all of that, and how people misconstrue a lot of the things when we talk about, Dee's thing is, his quote from the Bible was, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing," and so his point to that was, if a man finds you and he says he's found a wife, that means you already have the qualifications that are necessary to become a wife. And of course, I didn't agree with that.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah, no, I didn't agree with that. I think a lot of people
is that page still in the Bible?
Will tell you it's there, but the problem is, I think a lot of times Sarah and Mary, those were ready. You know what I mean?
They were and they lived to be like 700 back in the day.
That's what I say.
So
and then Daddy lived to like 1,000.
Right.
So he's still gonna pick up.
Yeah. So by 400 they were ready.
But what I'm saying is, while he's out doing this thing in the temple, she taking care of the children, making the manna, combing the donkey hair and things like that. She was taking care of business, and she understood that these are the things that are necessary to be done. A lot of people claim to want to be wife, but they're not anywhere near prepared. They're ready to wear the big ring. They're
But how
ready to
could you
have
be
the
prepared
home.
for something like that, though? How could you be prepared to even be a husband? How could you prepare to be a wife?
There are certain things. It's just like being a father or mother. It definitely doesn't come with a manual. A lot of times you're scared itless. You have no idea what to do. You're afraid to even hold your child.
When you say prepared, you're talking about emotionally sound.
At least do the work on yourself.
Okay, I understand.
That kind
I
of
understand.
thing. A lot of people are just kind
You're
of
talking about
waiting
mindset.
around. Yeah, a lot of people are just kind of waiting around, figuring I am the business, and whoever finds me has definitely found a good thing. And for no other reason that they look good in Jimmy Choo's and they got a tight bodice on and got big hips. That's ready meant to be a wife, is it?
Oh no, I mean
That's like to be a
that's
trophy
not
of sort.
superficial, man.
That's what I'm saying. But even that, and then there are other people on the other side of the spectrum that feel as if I cook, I clean, I'm a boss itch. And that means that, again, I'm ready to be a wife. Wife and partnership on any level, even a friendship, takes sacrifice, and people mess up and you have to be able to forgive. It's a lot of stuff that comes along with being in this couple situation. Everyone wants to be partnered up. Everyone wants to be booed up. But do you really know what that means?
But my idea of a wife is different from Nate's idea as a wife. It's
Agreed.
different from
Anybody.
these ideas of idea of a wife.
Even
So,
probably mine.
you know,
And even your wife may have different ideals as to what
what a
it
husband should
means.
be, right?
To, not even that, to what a wife means.
Oh, right,
It
right.
may differ. And that's why it's so important to, I mean, people say that people are great pretenders and you never really know who you're going to get and whatever else like that. But a lot of time, truth is difficult. I mean, you can mask it for a while, but if you're really digging for it, a lot of times it'll show itself. And the truth of the matter is, we don't want to know. There's so many other things that we find attractive about people and things that we find alluring that we're willing to turn a blind eye to things that we know isn't conducive for a great relationship. We've all been guilty of it. And, that's just the truth of it. If you get a job, you look at it, you're like, the pay is great. Like, it's in a certain place where I could do with that. But I know I'm doing something that I absolutely hate.
And that's
it.
That's it.
But you turn a blind eye to the fact that I don't like it, and you convince yourself, maybe I'll grow to like it because the money makes sense. I'll be able to achieve these things. And that's what we do with people in our lives as well.
Right.
And that's what I mean. We don't prepare ourselves, and we're not ready for the truth of sometimes it's hard to be alone. And I get that. And it's hard sometimes to be in your own skin.
But the thing is, so are you going to sacrifice your happiness? And the thing about it is,
A lot of people are.
when you talk about being in a job that you hate, being in a situation as far as relationship that you hate,
Mhm.
you sacrificing your happiness. Is it worth it?
A lot of people will tell you no, but that's not true to them. They'll say, no, it's not worth it. You got to go. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are comfortable. A lot of people are saying, you know what you have, but you don't know what you're going to get. When I separate the situation, there's so much other work to be done, starting over, and the intricacies that come along with new relationships. I don't want it. So I'm just going to make do with where I am. There are prickles in my bed sheets and all of that.
But if people see the beauty in starting over, that's a beautiful thing.
The unknown is a fantastic thing, but again, it's your mindset. For some
be
people,
fair
the
change.
unknown is fantastic, and other people, that's the scariest thing ever. So, that's the problem. But, those are just some of the topic matters that we were getting into for the last 2 days or so. And it's made for, my thing is thought-provoking conversation. That's what I've really been trying to get into for the last few days. Because like I said, one or two of those shows that we had with Alexis was definitely mind shifting. And being able to openly say the difficulties that one is having and be willing to explore those things and try to figure it out. It's not easy. And it's not easy while you're trying to find yourself while you're with someone else.
Right.
Lord Jesus. Right?
No, life aside, I just was telling you about it before the show started. I'm in a situation where I'm holding down two positions one time, and it's causing an imbalance.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm not willing to sacrifice my happiness
Right. For those
for the
things.
sake of monetary gain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There was a plan.
Mhm.
The plan's not working.
So you scratch it and you start over.
There you go.
Some people won't. And we justify things because in their mind, oh, you got to thug it out though. You can't just, but when you see that something is interrupting all the other things in your
Right.
life, we have to get to a place where fear doesn't stop us from removing it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know,
And,
things,
and the thing about it wasn't, it's a hard decision.
Mhm.
It's a hard decision because you go back to, you know, there's the what ifs,
Yes.
there's the unknown.
Mm.
But then when you look at Inside Stage, and like, I'm not willing to sacrifice what I've built with that already, or what we built with that already.
but what if you didn't take the chance and even diving into that? That alone has brought stability to your life in other ways.
Right.
Being able to explore certain parts of yourself that, and many other people that are fans and believers and subscribers to Inside Stage.
Right.
You know, it's beneficial too. And so it's a movement.
Oh, definitely.
So had you not, you know, where would it be?
Right.
So, you know, chances and risks are most definitely worth taking, but that's all up to you. You
Right.
gotta make the
And it was a
choice.
risk taken on the added
Mhm.
the added situation.
And now, experiment done, tried, start again.
There you go.
That's what we have to do.
There you go.
Well, interestingly enough, you know, I had a gentleman write in, and it's interesting because at first it was a lot of guys that wrote in, and then the women tipped the scale, and now we're back to a lot of men that are writing in. And he is asking if we can talk about how regret and making mistakes or ill decisions within your relationship, you know, causes great imbalance and causes problems. Let me see if I could clarify. His situation is this. He and his wife had 3 children, right? In having those 3 children, with both of them working and trying, with the kids being in school and paying mortgage and all of this stuff, rough. I mean, it was for the most part a happy home, ups and downs like everything else. But a lot of it was paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? But still trying to, I mean, story of everyone's life,
99%.
right? Okay, so that's what he's saying. So, you know, always trying to work to make it better.
Right.
But this is the present situation, but they were working together as a team. She got pregnant again. Now, they had a conversation about getting tied off and those kinds of things because they already said getting to a place where they are age-wise, sitting in the position that they are on a financial level, having another child just would not work in the benefit of any of those things. So wife got pregnant, despite what the plan was. And, you know, at first he said he was upset because they talked about taking certain measures and he entrusted her to do so. She was not. Okay, here we are, sat down, they had a conversation. And even though they are neither one of the belief into termination, they agreed for the sake of the other 3 children, the survival of certain things, that it was something that had to be done. Right? When it came time to do so, she said that she couldn't go through with. He was put in a position where, what do you do? This is your wife. This is your child. Although you've made a decision, you can't ignore, you know, what her choices are as well. You're trying to be respectful. So she ended up keeping the baby. They're now about 8 months in and everything is falling to pieces. He has resentment towards her because now it's not even more so paycheck to paycheck. It's now that isn't even working because with doing everything that you did, it's now diapers being added to that, milk added to that. Now she's going to go back to work. There's childcare now have to be added to that in an already situation that was very difficult. They were already struggling. And so now it's caused quite a nasty situation within the household. I love my child and everything like that, but my decisions and the things that we conversated and agreed upon as a couple was not respected any step of the way. I just kind of had to go along with the ride as your husband, and that was unfair to me. And now here we are, and he's in a situation now where he's looking for a secondary. He's taking on more hours. He doesn't get to be home, so now she's in his face about not being home and not contributing. I'm telling you, not contributing time-wise to the house, not helping with cooking and the children. But he's like, I can't be 2 places at the same time. Wow. What do you know what I'm saying? So that's So that's where he's at, and he's saying that, honestly, he said he's writing in because he's at a place where he said he honestly sat in the living room last night and he contemplated getting in his car and never coming back.
Wow.
He contemplated packing what he could.
serious?
Honestly, I swear.
No,
That's why I had to address that.
that's a
Now.
breaking point right there.
Yeah, he's at that place, and he said he just doesn't feel as if. I mean, he understands the argument of your body and all of that, but isn't being a couple making decisions together for the betterment of all. And they agreed several times, and she did as she wanted to do each time. And now that the remnants are before them, he's expected to just kind of shut up. You're my husband. You should support me regardless of what. And he's saying that's not fair. And he's the bad guy if he speaks against it because what do you mean? That's your wife and that's your child.
Right.
No one gets where he's coming from.
So the child's not born yet?
Yeah, the child is here. It's 8 months now, and diapers, Pampers, all of the things that it's like they're starting over because their children were pretty much getting into teen years. So when old people say they're kind of getting to the place where they could do for self, and you're thinking now perhaps we can get out of this hole and start living a different way. And now the baby came along, and not just the presence of the baby and the stresses that come financially. The availability of time, starting over with ABCs and 1, 2, 3s now, being of a certain age. It's not like we had, when we had the other children when we were in our 20s, 30s.
Right.
Now you're like the older guy on the park and whatever else like that. So he says there's so much going on, and she is just so clueless and oblivious to his needs. She doesn't seem to understand where he's coming from, his position in all of it. And when he talks to other people, they're looking at him cross-eyed like, yeah, but the baby done here with what you want. And that's your baby too. And you were sleeping unprotected. That's my wife though. And she told me that she was taking certain measures.
Yeah, he probably don't need to tell nobody. He's talking to the wrong persons because they only gonna feed him.
They're not getting it. So he said that, he often listens. He didn't think that he would be in a position where he'd also be writing in. Yeah. But here's what the situation is. And he said he's just at a point where, honestly, regardless of what anybody thinks, he's just at a point where he just want to pack up and go. Wow. All he feels is a zombie that works and contributes. There's no love as far as he's concerned. He's just not being fed. He's just working, slaving, putting money in, and no matter what he does, there's not enough. There's complaints, there's problems, there's arguments. When he does come home, it's not a great place to come home to. So, #fed up. I'm tired.
Wow.
This is where they're at. So he says one day, I mean, you're not rich, but you're making it work. The kids are fairly happy. They're getting what they need. And then with this landslide of things that were done, everything is topsy-turvy.
Yeah. No, I could definitely appreciate that. And
so what do you say to him? I mean, I have a few things, but I think he just wants to, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to hear like the psychological this and that. I want to like person to person. Does anyone get me? That's basically what he said.
No, I get him, and I can understand.
So as a man, what do you say to him? He's listening in.
I could definitely understand the pressure that he's going through. Mm-hmm. I mean, just as a man, that responsibility of having to provide for your family, and then you have this extra mouth to feed. It's a lot. Yeah. And then the thing about it is, you have a wife that's on your butt, and everything that you do doesn't please her, and she's voicing it. That's enough pressure. I mean, I could understand him wanting to get up, and leave.
But he has resentments because they talked. First, the decision, the conversation was getting tied off, and she said, "Okay, we'll do that as soon as I'm able to do so. But in the meantime, we'll take the necessary precautions." As far as birth control are concerned, so we don't have those issues. Yeah. She agreed to that. And so he was comfortable. Your wife says that to you. You've been married for a while. You trust her in that. Come to find out, she was not taking them. Yeah. And she got pregnant. Okay, that's been done. On to the next one. Okay, you've deceived me in that way. We've had that problem. Okay, next one. Sat down, talked about it. Listen, we both know we cannot afford this. We're of a certain age. We shouldn't be doing this. Not happy about the decision, but we don't need to have another child. She agreed upon it. Time came. She reneged on it.
Yeah. And you know what, Candy? the thing is, and I went through a similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I know what he's talking about. When my wife was pregnant, my oldest is 18.
Yeah.
When my wife found out she was pregnant, my oldest was 12.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When we went to do the scan, we found out it was 2.
2. Yeah, boy.
We found out it was 2.
Mm-hmm.
When we had the twins, I was going through a similar situation. There wasn't enough money.
How to make it work? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My twins was born premature, so it was, and then my wife wasn't working, so everything was on me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning burning DVDs and just selling them at the airport and just doing what I had to do, because I had that responsibility to provide for my family, pay the rent, put food on the table, take care of these twins.
And your existing child.
And my child who's going to a private school.
And your wife and just the regularities of life.
Dying the food, dying the gas, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. It got to a point where the resentment built.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is so damaging to a relationship. I don't know if that has fixed my relationship yet.
Mm-hmm. Because it lives.
It lives.
I think people are under the impression. See, there's a vast difference between moving forward after a situation has happened and healing and dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times you get so distracted with the fact that whatever is happening, like for him or for them, okay, it's the baby is coming now. We still got everyday life to deal with, these shifts and everything else like that. I suspect there wasn't a lot of time to deal with the emotional betrayal or how you're feeling towards these things.
Yeah.
After the child or babies come, now you got to focus on taking care of them and being what they need.
Right.
So we move past or forward, but we don't get over.
Yeah.
We don't heal in situations and it builds in our relationship.
Right.
And it causes damage no matter how long you're there.
No.
And that's the situation now.
No.
So he's like, what to do?
I mean, I'll tell you how I dealt with the situation. There was no emotional betrayal. It was just that I dealt with the pressure of not being able to, like my wife, we never go out. You never have any money. You never do this. You never did. Hello, can't you see what's going on?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And all
Am I
that
the one that's present here?
Right.
Right.
You know, and it was sucking my happiness.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sucking my soul.
That's where he's at now.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, you're never home. You don't help me with the children. Right. And he's like, how can I be
So
home?
his wife doesn't work?
She wasn't working. And then, you know, it was a lengthy letter. And then he said there were some issues with the collection of NIB with claiming on the child and all of these things. So basically it was him.
Yeah.
And then they hadn't had the money for childcare. So, I mean, you just had the baby, so you can't go right back to work. So this is what the situation was. And he said from the break, it isn't like she had, you know, not belittling, but it isn't as if she had the most fantastic job that brought in so much money to begin with.
Right.
But it was some kind of additive to it. And now, so it isn't as if there was a career, so to speak, to go back to.
Right. And you know, funny you say that. I remember my wife was pregnant with my first daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She was working in the restaurant as a waitress.
Right.
When she got pregnant, I said, listen, I see so much more in you. You're not going to go back there.
Mm-hmm.
After she had my first child, she took a job that was paying less.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Just to gain experience, and it has worked out for her very well.
Mm-hmm.
But in his situation, and like I said, I'm comparing it to my situation. You know, I had to get to a point where I didn't let it suck my happiness. I had to get to a point. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to find other ways of trying to generate income to help the situation.
Right.
It didn't make sense because we weren't getting anywhere. We weren't getting anywhere with the resentment building up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it really caused damage. But if you stay in that, your situation is not going to change.
Right.
Situation is not going to change. So he has to decide what he's going to do. When I say that, the kid is here.
Yeah, that's the one thing that isn't changing.
Now, the thing about it is you have to decide if you're going to stay in that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's a tough decision. But you got to do what you have to do for you. And when I say that, I had to, when I was working with an airline as a customer service agent,
mm-hmm.
I made up my mind that anytime a position came up where I could advance my skills, my knowledge, paycheck, whatever,
Take it.
I took it. So in the last 18 years, I've had 6 jobs, and every one of the jobs was an advancement. You know, like I said, I'm now a manager there of an airline, but it took time to build that. And while I was doing that, I was educating myself. I was working on myself, you know, but it all worked out in the end. It all worked out, you know. The thing is, you don't know where the money is come from, but you find it. You know, it doesn't make sense, and I know this is hard, and I'm really speaking from experience. You know, sitting there worrying about it it's not going to help the situation.
I wonder what it is. I mean, there's nothing like, and I think that is, to me, that is the worst feeling in the world, to know that you have a partner and you still feel alone in your relationship.
Yeah. No, I know. I got you.
You might as well, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, the whole point of partnership is that, like, you have a compadre, you know, you have someone that's with you, that when these worrisome times come, they reinforce that we together as a team will make it work. Yeah. You sit down and you try to figure out how each of you can attribute. And in this situation, you'd say, okay, I'm working these extra hours, so I need you to hold the fort down home. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And that's what I was going to suggest. If she just changed her
responsibility, the attitude and the mindset, a lot of times that causes issues that do not have to exist within your relationship. You know, and a lot of times I understand what he's saying, but I think, again, you deserve a voice. And I think perhaps at his point, he's like, what's the point? I've spoken so many times and I've been ignored.
Yeah, I've been there too.
And she either has not heard me or has chosen to ignore what it is that I've said, or has no respect for what I say. Mm-hmm. So why open my mouth anymore? Yeah. I get where he's coming from. But I always say, let it be said that whatever happens within your relationship, whether it makes it or it fails, let it be known that your position was made clear.
All right.
Let it be known that your position was made clear. You gave what effort that was needed on your end, so that if you choose to walk away, they can say whatever, but you know within your heart of hearts that you've done your damnedest to do what it is that will required for you as a partner and a mate.
Yeah, and you know,
and that's all you could do.
And what I've learned, Candy, and it's so important, is be careful who you talk your stuff to.
Boy, listen here. You better say that again, yeah?
You know, they say misery love company.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you got to be careful.
But some people now tell him, boy, get out from the base, hey, walk out of that way, what she dealing with. Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's your family. That's your family. And I'm not saying that what happened was right on any scale. You know what I mean? And there definitely should have been communications throughout that process before the pregnancy. After it happened, if that's something that she didn't want, I think she should have voiced that to you instead of, you know, making a plan, going through and then reneging. I mean, it just makes someone feel as if, you know, I don't matter in this relationship. But at the end of the day, you're still expecting me now to live with the decisions that you yourself have chosen to make just because I carry the title of husband. That's not fair. Now, some may say, of course, as a husband, that's exactly what he's supposed to do. But turn it around.
Does he say what he do?
No, he didn't. All he said was he's picking up extra shifts. I don't know why I pictured like security or something like that. But he did speak of shift work. He said he's been picking up extra shifts wherever he could, whatever time of day. And it's had him out of the house all hours that night. He said so.
If I'd like for him to do this. I'd like for him to contact you because I would like to talk to him.
Okay.
I would really like to talk to him and see if I can assist him somehow.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying? I think sometimes having another man that perhaps has been in the situation or is understanding and coming from a place of non-judgment could be most beneficial.
Yeah. I know it's hard. I mean, especially when you know as a man, you have to be able to be there for your family, you know, to provide.
And people expect you to be more than human, and that's all you are.
You know, that Superman cape gets heavy.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? And you're expected to be respectful to your wife, which is understandable. You're not
supposed to get frustrated. You're not supposed to do this.
Let me tell you.
You're not supposed to do that. But I think, to be honest with it, if you change things up and it were her that, you know, was in the position where he did certain things. Like I remember we had a writing a couple of months back where a woman was writing in and saying that her husband made some bad business choices and it caused them to lose their home. They had to sell their car. They pulled the children out of private school, the 2 children, because they couldn't afford it. They had to move back in. I think it was her parents. And she just said it was just an awful situation because he decided to do certain things with their money collectively that she didn't agree with and lost everything. And they had to, at damn near 50, start again. And so that was another story where there was some heavy resentment, and she never let him forget that we are in this because of what you've done.
Yes, and that's heavy.
And I'm sticking with you. You better kiss my behind every day your eyes open. Pucker up, my buddy. Pucker up.
And he stayed?
He was there because, you know,
he felt responsibility.
He felt responsibility because now I've put us here.
Yeah.
I gotta prove now to my kids that daddy's not a failure.
That's heavy.
Daddy's not a mess up. I gotta prove to your parents. I took you out their house and now we back here again. I gotta show them, boy, I could put you somewhere else again.
Yeah, but he hasn't given up.
Not at the point. I haven't heard from them in a while.
Well, I hope he hasn't given up. He can't give up.
But he said it wasn't easy. But I'm just changing the situation.
No, I got you.
I mean, it's a baby in this sense. And I think a lot of times when you introduce the human aspect of it, when a child is involved, it kind of blurs our vision as to the other respects to the story, which is she made some decisions that she didn't afford him to be the opportunity to be a part of those things. And now the repercussions are here. And he's basically, I'm not saying she doesn't feel, but he's carrying the weight of it.
Yeah. How does he feel about the baby?
Well, through our convo, he said that he loves the child, but he said, to be honest, there's a bit of a disconnect because number one, he hasn't had a lot of time to spend with the child because you're always working.
Yeah.
When he is home, he's dog tired. You know what I mean? Or they're bickering back and forward. In some ways he sees the baby as, I do love you, but this is just some another thing that I have such great responsibility for that I was not prepared for.
I know.
So, I get his position and it's so disheartening because I can feel, you ever feel, or someone writes something and you could just...
I can feel it, and that's why I tell you, that's why I'm asking if he get in contact with you. And he could contact me.
Well, I'm hoping so.
See if we could assist him somehow.
So the invitation is there, even if you just want to have a conversation. And I want to assure you at this time, where no one ever is going to mention your name. We don't do that on the show.
Yeah. And
for the while that we've been having the show, that's never been an issue. Even in situations where, we had a child writing before and she talked about being taken advantage of. I went through the proper channels of getting help without exposing, her. So I want you to feel comfortable in the fact that that won't be an issue. And if we just need another man to talk to, sometimes that does a world of good.
Yeah.
But I really wish that she was listening, or I would encourage him to also have her hit up the show or because I don't know, a lot of times as women, and I'm going to say it, as people, first and foremost, but secondly, as women, I don't know if we understand the damage that we sometimes do by not giving the respect that is due to our mates as a man. I don't know if we understand. And you hear a lot of women talk about ego. It's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that.
Let me tell you, to be a man,
much deeper than that.
To be a man, when you carry the responsibility for your family and all that, that's heavy. And I know it is for a woman as well. But the thing about it is to be a man, and then you're in a relationship, like you said, where you feel you're alone and you're not appreciated as a man, and vice versa.
Yeah,
it's tough. You know what I mean? But the thing is, he's got someone vision of you don't have to be a reality.
Yeah,
he has to remember that. So he has to do his thing. You see what I'm saying? He can't let her control his life.
The question that I had was, sometimes in your relationship, certain things exist already, right? And then that one thing happens to bring everything that we've worked so hard to hide, to put away, to keep at bay. That one thing happens to bring all of that nasty stuff to the forefront. I'm certain if he looks at it, there were many times that she didn't care about what his choices and decisions were. I'm sure many times
he was
disrespected. I have to, Mike. I have to, because only when we're willing to make the decision to see things as they are, that we can either confront or have the conversation with the other party to try and move towards change. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it comes to a place where one partner has to be slapped with reality in order to shift the mindset of the other. When you become so wrapped up in the things that you do all the time, you see nothing wrong with it. One person becomes the giver and the other person becomes the taker of the BS. And I suspect that it's been happening to him for quite some time. But
no, this ain't just started.
No,
this ain't just started.
It isn't. I
Yeah.
think this has probably been one of the bigger things, but I'm certain that she's been having and exhibiting this behavior for a while.
Let me tell you
if he
something.
looks at it. Let's
It's
be
going
real.
to be tough, but he got to find himself. He got to find his voice. It ain't going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, in being in that situation, and over time, your soul has been taken away.
And
But
that's
to
why
find your
he's sitting
voice-
up at night now.
Yes. To find your voice is going to take some BA.
Yeah. It's going to
Some
take a lot.
kahunas. And that's what he's got to do
man.
for him.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, for him and for those kids, I mean, you know, be the change. When I say be the change, you know, if you sit there and you sit small, she's going to treat you the same way forever. I mean,
And if you have a son, and I think you said one of your children is a child, what are you teaching him? Even your daughter. What are you teaching your daughter, that berating and those kinds of things are acceptable? I mean, and again, I don't want to put more pressure, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's a lot to consider. So this person says, sometimes in a relationship, we forget that it's two people making a life together. And when communication breaks down or one person is not heard, the parameters change. So it doesn't work. Mountains seem insurmountable. This is a heavy one. It's just emotional. We've got a caller, but before we take that, let me reiterate that you're listening to Global 99.5 FM. Candy's sitting in studio with you as long as Mike is here as well. And we're just talking about resentments and ill decisions and the things that we do that cause issues within the breakdown of our relationship. And we're tackling, a really heavy letter that a gentleman has written in seeking for help and the conversation of other men. Good morning. Thank you for calling in to Love Jones. What's going on? We lost that one? All right. I think we lost that caller. But this is the situation that we're faced with right now. And I suspect that's the caller calling back. I just feel it, man. I feel it. Caller on the line. Thanks for calling to Love Jones. What's good?
Morning, how are you and Mike doing today?
Hi. Good
Hey.
morning.
I'm calling to chime in on this topic that you're having today.
Go ahead.
It's a very interesting topic, and like Mikey suggested, that you maybe need to sit down and talk with him.
Mm-hmm.
And not only him, maybe D and Pat, and a couple of other brothers, sit down and talk with him. Because I really feel his pain,
Right.
Yeah, so that's good advice to him. I mean, like he was saying, and then Mikey said he maybe been through something similar, so he may be able to relate to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I
You guys
appreciate
take
that.
care and enjoy your day.
All right. Thanks so much.
Bye.
And that's what we're trying to create. That's one of the things that I love about, the chatter group that we created. A lot of times, even if you don't want to say what it is in group, and we're pretty open about some of our stuff in group, but even if you don't, there's a band of brothers in our group. Yourself, and there's Pat, and then there's D, that was Action. There are a lot of brothers, different age groups, different relationship statuses, all coming from different walks of life, but they've all been in situations as men, as fathers, as sons, as husbands, boyfriends, whatever it is. And I think it's always great to have a band of brothers that you could talk to. A lot of men don't have that.
Definitely.
They have little boys that'll say stupid things that don't really get it or don't understand the emotional side, or they look at him type crazy for expressing himself emotionally. I think sometimes you need the conversation and the ear of mature men that'll get it, and they won't always, support you in your BS either. They say, bro, you was wrong for that. And when you're not, and you just need those backs, they can be there for you as well. So I just want to offer that to him as well. Mike has offered you the invitation personally. But if you need a band of brothers to talk to, or even some of the ladies if you want to talk to get a woman's perspective on different things. Because sometimes it's like, what was she thinking? Maybe they could give you that.
No,
I don't know.
definitely,
Whatever it is that you're in need of. But I think a brotherhood is a great thing for him right now as a support system.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like I said, to hear him out, and like I said, I've been in a situation, similar to his, and when I say you're never out of the situation, it's a continuous work. You know what I'm saying? It's a continuous work. And if you sitting there on the couch and
that's the part that did it for me.
Yeah.
He said he had the duffel out.
Yeah.
And he was just thinking about packing,
Right.
getting in the car, and just don't look back.
Yeah.
You know what kind of desperate situation you got to be in for that?
Right. No, I understand that. That's why I like for him to reach out to me.
Wow.
And if we could have even fixed his money problems. You know what I'm saying?
You'd start there and start building with some
You see what
other
I'm saying?
stuff.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he has something that he's good at.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
You never know who knows who.
Right.
So reach out again. We spoke via email, but reach out again, 431-8497, 812-1787. Of course, the email, verycoolcandy@yahoo or lovejonescoo@gmail. Like us on Facebook, but for those personal contacts, use those, and let's see if we could start to make a difference. If nothing more, somewhere for you to lean, to have a conversation where people understand where you're coming from, and you could talk man to man.
I don't have a
You may
degree in
need that.
psychology. I don't have
don't
a
need
degree
it.
in psychiatry. It's like I said, I've been in this situation, and I know what it took me to get out of it. I know the mindset I needed to have. I know when I had enough and what I needed to do to just start.
Did you at the time have other men in your life, or other men that you could talk to, even if it wasn't family, friends, anyone that you could relate to that could get it, could understand, that could walk you through it? Were you afforded that?
Let me tell you, and it's so amazing that you said that. At the same time I was going through that, a neighbor just moved in.
Right.
And he called me. He's like, Mike, I got a flat tire. I don't know anything about tires.
Right.
Can you help me change my tire?
Mhm.
And that was it right there. That was the beginning of a beautiful friendship right there.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We're still very close friends today. He's still a mentor.
Right.
And the one thing I always remember him telling me, Mike, you just have to relax.
Easier said than done, though,
He
right?
said, just relax.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just relax, and everything worked out. I was able to talk to him. He was able to give me advice. And the thing about it is, he now sees me as a mentor. He'll call me,
Probably
like,
seeing how far you've come.
yeah, he'll call me and say, Mike, I need some advice. We'll go for lunch, and when you know this guy, you think this guy has it all together, because he's out there in the public eye.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And when the day he called me, he's like, Mike, I need some advice on something. And I was like,
What?
you sure you
What the meme say? It's me.
Yeah,
You want
you sure you
advice,
got-
right?
So that was you know what I'm saying, that was very empowering for me.
Mhm.
That was really cool. And like I said, I mean,
But it's something interesting that you said. I think a lot of times in our society, though, we have to understand not everyone guides you in the right way. I agree with that.
but at the same time, let me just interject. I had to get rid of some associates in order to
Elevate mind,
There
body,
you go.
soul thing.
Yes.
I agree. People say things like, with degrees and things of that sort. I know many people that have them, and they are some of the most unrelatable people. People who have no heart when talking to other people, so they have the educational side, the scholastic side locked down, but they've lost the human effect. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And I understand working within the field that you have to make a separation, but when a human being comes to you and is in pain, sometimes
you
you just
can't get no
have
pills,
you
no.
just have to be able to tap
Prozac
into the
won't
human
work.
side.
Right.
And sometimes not having those degrees and not having those things and being able to step in somebody's shoes and understanding what it is to walk a mile or even a footstep in their shoes goes a long, long way.
Candy, what that person did for me, he helped me set up my first company, and I was able to use his office as my brick and mortar.
Mhm.
You can't ask for no better friendship than that.
No. Sacrifice.
You know what I'm saying? So
reach out,
it's-
sir.
yeah, man, definitely.
If you don't have it, you feel like you need to talk to someone, you need people that are going to understand. We're offering that to you.
Yeah, I hope he calls. I mean,
Yeah, because I want people to get it. This show is so much people don't understand how personal this is for me. I really just get, I've cried on the show when people have told it, shared certain things, and we've talked about certain things. It's a very personal movement,
yeah,
and it goes a little bit more than empathy, but there are so many people out there that are hurting
right.
to themselves and hurting in relationships, are in destructive places and situations. I think we would be surprised. And a lot of times they are people that look so normal.
I know.
They
And I
look
was
like
I
they
was so
have
touched when
everything
Action
together.
called and said what he had to say. I mean, that says it right there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That says it right there. So I appreciate him calling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So-
Sometimes you need a support system
Yeah.
because we all waver and we all are at places of our worst where we feel so weak, so downtrodden by life and its circumstances. You just want to give up. I think we've all been there. Damn, I just reach there once a day.
Yeah, no,
I'm just saying,
it's not easy.
we're
It's
all
definitely not
there.
easy.
And sometimes that singular word from someone else can give you that boost that you need to carry on. Now, the problem with it is, I think you have a right to the expectation that a lot of that boost and that morale should come from your mate. I think you have the right for that expectation. Is it always filled? No. But I think you have the right to expect it at the bare minimum. You should not go home or have a mate that berates and beats you down after the world has spat you back out.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm down and you're going to take your heel and now you're going to kick me in my face now that I'm already down here. Come on, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be that way. And if the situations were reversed, there would be certain expectations for him to do certain things. So I understand where you're at. But at the end of the day, the truth be told, before this child came along, and it is what it is, when children come, it changes us forever. There are certain responsibilities that are now ours, that belong to us, and we're responsible for building them, upholding them, whether she appreciates or not. Your children will, and they will have a different level of respect for you for doing so. So that can be the beginning of your incentive. And I always say, never allow the actions of someone else to change who you are in your core.
Right.
And obviously, you're a good guy.
No, definitely. I feel that he
doesn't want to. I mean, if he wanted to go, he could have
yeah,
kicked rocks so long
yeah.
ago.
Like
He's
I
hung
said,
in
I
there
could-
from
let me
start
tell
to
you,
finish.
I could identify exactly
He
what
could
this
have.
guy
How
going
many?
through.
How many guys we know do go? It's
Yeah.
like, yo, you ain't making no sense,
So do it.
and you making my life harder than it already.
Yeah.
Listen, you and your attitude and all that you have, you stay here and you be by yourself.
Yeah.
You do you, but he's still there. So that speaks a lot to his character, whether she's giving credit for it or not. It speaks a lot to his character. So, you got to work on your connection with your child.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, baby didn't ask to come here.
Right.
You know,
I remember I talked about balance just now.
Yeah.
Before the show started.
gotta get it.
Balance is so important.
Gotta have it. Gotta get it. But to be honest with you, talk and talk again. Not act, but you have to find a way of communication to have yourself heard. And if you
Write
get
a letter.
Write
a letter.
whatever you need to.
Write a letter. I mean, the thing about it for me, like when I write a letter to, if I write a letter to my wife, she look at me like, you can't just say it.
Mhm.
I'm like, listen, I've told you before.
I'm saying it my own way.
I'm telling you before. When we talk about these things, you trying to make your point, I trying to make my
It
point.
doesn't work.
Nobody gets that point across. So here it is in a letter. You read it, and then I'll listen.
Sometimes it's always good to sometimes it's true for women. A lot of times women have people that they love and they respect and they'll listen to. And I hear husbands saying that, I've been telling you that same thing all the while, but now that Susie May said it, all of a sudden
There you go.
it's woo, it's fire.
Right.
I've been saying the same thing, and it is a sad situation, but sometimes to get past that blockage of communication, if it is the pastor, then speak with him and see if the point can be can come across a neutral party. If it's a mother, sit down and talk with her and make your position understood so that she can assist you in getting your communications clear. Sometimes you need that third partisan. You need that party in order to begin your conversation and to develop a new way of talking with each other and understanding. But right now, she's in a place where she really needs to get where you're coming from before she loses it all.
Yeah.
Has to. And if she's not hearing you, then find another mode of communication that
Right.
works so that your voice
Write a letter.
is represented
Write a
and be
letter.
heard.
And
And just leave it there.
trust me, she'll read that over and over
And over again.
again.
She may not even realize that she's being that one. Some know.
Excuse me?
No, some know, and then others don't know that they at that extreme place, Mike. Some are aware. They get up and they put their itch t-shirt on.
But here's the thing.
They
You
put
don't
it
think
on.
she knows what she's doing to him?
I think she knows that she's not been respectful of his decisions, but she may not understand
How is
the place of desperation this man is. She's about to lose her husband if she don't get
he
it
needs to
together.
write that and put that in.
She's going to lose it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Cliche as it sounds, you never miss the water until your well has run dry. You think he ain't present now because he at work? How he gonna be gone when he's then moved into another place?
Yeah.
How will it be when you see another woman enjoying the fruits of thy labor? Consider these are all things that are very distinct possibilities that could happen. Do you want to be a single mother? You've been operating like only you in the relationship. Do you want to make it so? Your wish is about to come true.
Yeah.
Do you want that? We need to get it together.
Yeah. No, we do. We do.
Everybody want to be a couple. Everybody want to be husband. Everybody want to be wife. But nobody wants to do and adhere to the stipulations that go along with it. We got to get it together.
Yeah. You said it. You said
No
it.
man wants to be in a relationship. Nobody wants to, but no man wants to be in a relationship where he's disrespected, he's ill appreciated, and his voice has been snuffed out. Nobody.
Nobody.
Those are the things that breathe into walking out. And as many people are not going to like what I'm about to say, it also yields into seeking these things from another party.
Hmm. And that's what that's usually what happens.
So they end up staying, yes, but all the things that are not being garnered from their partner, get from a
Get from somebody
bipartisan.
else.
That's
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah. No, that's the reality of it. I mean,
Own
there's
your
no-
role.
Yeah.
Now, some people do it just for the hell of it, and other people do it because this is what it is.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Own it
You're there fighting and you got to come home and fight.
and fight again.
No, but that don't
What
make
the hell?
no
So
sense.
where I'm supposed to find some solace
Yeah.
at?
Yeah.
And when we make decisions, you say I'm the man of this house, I'm the priest of this house, but the decisions that I make and we meet in agreement on, you don't respect any of those things. So I'm only a workhorse in here then. That's all I good for. Bring the bacon home. You want me to bring the bacon home, fry the bacon up. What, seriously? If that was a woman and that was being said, it would have been all hell to pay. What?
Yeah.
No. Girlfriend, get it together.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Get it together is correct.
Get
You
it
said
together.
it.
Your house of cards is about to fall, so you need to do something. And sir, I absolutely feel your pain, but ownership is key here too. You allowed her to
Right.
continue to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. Now you got holes in your back from
Right.
as many times as she
That's
stepped
what I'm
on
saying.
you.
For him, it's gonna take some coolness, and that's why he's saying.
You're gonna have to get it together too.
Yeah.
You got to take ownership. We always say people do what you allow them to do,
Right.
and no other statement is truer.
Yeah.
I
Amazing.
get where you're coming from, and in his mind, he's supporting his wife. Okay, if this is what she decides, I don't agree with it. I don't want it, but what else do I do? So he was boxed in at every angle. But at the end of the day, you allowed her to walk, and it wasn't just this. Look back at it. You've allowed her to walk for years now. You've allowed her. Take that back. Take it back. No more welcome mat. No.
Yep. You said it.
Man, listen here. That one hurt me. But anyhow.
Well, like I said, I hope he calls you, or you can
I
contact.
put it out again. Let me go again. 431-8497-812-1787. 431-8497-812-1787. All right. Let's make it do what it do. Let's go ahead and leave a nugget for the day. What would you say? Let's do it like this. What would you say to her as a man being in that position?
What do I say
What
to
would
her?
you say to her if she came to you for advice, or she's just listening in? What would you say to her? Being in his position, number one, also just coming from the point of view from man talking to a woman that has seen a situation like this, what would you say to someone like that?
I would tell her to, to sit and just ask him.
Mhm.
Just ask him.
What were the questions you wanted to be asked? What were the things that you needed your wife to ask of you? Because I think there may be some of the things that he needs to be asked. Sometimes you want to say, you know what I mean, but you don't know how to. So what could she ask for him to be able to express himself and say the things that's on his heart?
First, do you love me?
Mm-hmm.
Am I giving you the
It's a
love?
big one. Yeah.
Am I giving you the love that you want? Am I pleasing you as a wife?
Right.
How do you see me as a wife?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to be more of a wife to you?
Right.
I'd ask those questions. Have I done anything lately that hurt you?
Right.
What I do to make you feel less than, and stuff
It
along
starts
those
the
lines.
conversation.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
listen. Don't
say
no
anything.
judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Take
Just let
notes
him.
if you could.
Yeah.
Take notes. Don't respond right away.
No.
Take notes. Go back. Think about what he said, and then you guys come back, and then you
And
talk,
hash it
and
out.
he listens.
Right. I think that's a good piece. And I think I'll piggyback off of that. I would agree, and I would just leave that right there for that situation. But I'd go a step further in saying, in our current relationships, whatever your relationship may be right now, whatever your relationship status is, whomever you're with, I think we all are due that conversation. Because we talk about how resentments lay low, they hide in those dark spaces until something happens to bring forth.
Yeah.
Don't wait for that to happen. Ask the questions. Have I said anything that was disrespectful to you, that hurt you? Have I done anything to hurt you? Is there something that I do repetitively that makes it difficult to love me? That kind of way.
Yeah.
Do you feel as if I'm exhibiting love in the ways that you need? What is the love language that I'm missing? And for the first half, I agree. Say nothing. Just take the information in. Say nothing initially, because a lot of time when you be quiet and you listen and you allow yourself to actually let it sink in and don't take just offense to it off bat, and you let it sink in, you can answer in clarity later on.
But here's the thing, and that's why I say take notes, because if you take notes, you're actually listening to what
and you
the
remember,
person's saying.
yeah, and
You
it
see what I'm
makes you
saying?
pay attention.
So right.
Yeah. And I would say do that in turn, go back, and then the other person gets to say nothing, and then come back later on and then talk about what you each have gathered from what was said. Whatever apologies have to be had, just go ahead and move forward in those things. I think that can be a most beneficial exercise for any relationship. So let's do the work before we find ourselves in these kinds of situations. I think a lot of times when we hear the things we hear and get the letters we get, we may say, oh, that was never me. That could never be me. But there's always a lesson to be gotten from someone's story, no matter how big or no matter how small.
And be careful with your story too.
Please. Please and thanks.
Yeah.
Be very careful how you share that with, because not all the time people mean you good or your relationship best, and if they're by themselves and they're lonely and unhappy, they want you to join that number.
Yeah.
So be careful on who you share your heart, your mind, and your story with. But on that note, we thank you for sharing it with us. I'm certain it was a lesson for many people listening in today. We appreciate it. And again, we offer you a support system with the LJC group. Even if it's just the brothers, if that's what you need, if you want to speak with Mikey singularly, that's fine as well. Whatever you need, let us know and let us see how we can bring, some assistance to you and the things that are needed for you right now. You never know where it could lead. But that's going to do it for us. Fantastic. I definitely enjoyed it. Lots of things to be had today. And again, I extend the email is verycoolcandy@yahoo, lovejonescrew@gmail. You can watch this a little bit later on Love Jones Crew page and become a friend on Facebook. But be a part of your conversations. Nothing is taboo. In order to live and learn and no longer be in the position for jonesing for love anymore, we've got to start doing our work, having ownership, and living an authentic kind of life. But that's going to do it for us. It was a great one. And keep it right where you've got it. This is most definitely the best mix of R&B music home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. We're Global 99.5. And in the words of D, I will say,
Wiggle-link.
Wiggle-link. Listen.
Love Jones.